Why, hello there, fellow cavemen. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival. Episode 19, Planning a Metal Smithy. So, right at the start here, I changed one mod. I'm trying not to add mods to this series, but the one mod I have is all sides have resin. In my test realm, I realized that because of the way the acacia trees are formed, generally pine trees are straight, so you can see all four sides of the trunks. The way acacia trees are, your resin section can be pointing directly at another trunk, meaning unless you're looking straight at it, it's like functionally invisible, so you can't spot it. So the all sides have resin means, so the way the resin trees work is if a tree has resin, it's like one section of that tree with one side of the four-sided trunk. And all sides have resin just makes all four sides of the four-sided trunk have resin, so that you can easily spot it. I thought it was the least intrusive way for me to maybe source more resin. And the reason I did this is the spawn rate for resin is 1 out of every 100 pine logs. So like if a pine tree is 5 tall, that's 5. So if you have a pine tree that's, let's say 100 tall, on average it will have 1 resin. Obviously pine trees don't get that large. And then acacia trees is 1 out of 200. And the reason I mention this is the spawn drop rate that I found when I searched those acacia trees didn't match math. I could just be unusually unlucky, but I think more than likely we have a bunch of like hidden resin out there in the acacia groves that are just across the water. And as a result, I did the all sides have resin mod, which should remedy some of that. So as you can zoom up ahead, what I'm planning on doing is planting the berry bushes, fixing the irrigation, because it's cosmetic, but like it bothered enough of you. I got so many YouTube comments about it. And then voting for the next priority. So I'm going to put up the poll for the next priority right now. Big old poll. And you guys can pick what you want me to work towards while I do the other to-do list. So first things first, let's go ahead and fix the irrigation, which is honestly very easy. I just screwed up like the order of operations that is required in order to irrigate, and that's all like a 5-second fix. Then I want to plant all the berry trees. Now, there was some other YouTube comments, which was about how they found a bunch of seeds not germinating properly and becoming overheated even in their temperate biome, leading me to believe that the bug that I have with my seeds is a bug. It is not like it got hotter than I noticed. It is the seeds are wilting in the farm at temperatures they shouldn't be. I don't know if the bug has been reported, but like I'm pretty sure it's just bugged, and so be it. Also, worth reminding everyone, in Homo Sapien mode, you cannot move source blocks of water. Which means I can't take a bucket and make a new water source. That is disabled in Homo Sapien mode, because there was some YouTube comments that suggested things of that nature, which is just simply not possible in Homo Sapien mode. You can't move water sources. So, yeah. If you need the full details about Homo Sapien mode, you can easily look that up on the Vintage Story Wiki. But, I'm only mentioning it because it's probably worth noting that, given the Homo Sapien mode, any solutions that require me to do things that are impossible are solutions I'm going to scoff and laugh at. I'm kidding. I won't scoff and laugh, but they're obviously not workable. So, for instance, if I am to build a smithy and I want a place to quench, I'm going to need to build at least part of the smithy on top of a lake or something, because I'm not going to be able to move water into a 1x1 hole in the ground for quenching purposes. And there we go. It's fixed. No problem. The issue was furrows are really meant to just be dug from one side and not interconnect two sides of water. So just make it from one side to the other. It's fine. All right. Mr. Pig, You are all skinned up. So let's butcher you. Oh, right. I actually have to physically skin you first. Nope. Come on. No, that's not right. Why am... There we go. No, what is going... No, I'm not trying to remove the hook. Game. Really? Really, game? That's what you think I was trying to do? Fine. Did I already had... No, I had already skinned that. Never mind. Alright, it's just my brain. I forgot, because I left it partially done, what part of the process I was at. Alright. So we got our 2 kills butchered. Obviously, I've already started the offal process here for that barrel, so I can't... I could build another barrel, but what I was planning on doing is just, like, not... I was waiting until it's done. Oops. Okay. So the next part of the process, or things I was going to work on, is planting the berry bushes. Now, the berry bushes require a certain temperature as well, so there's a very fair chance that, like, the berry bushes are not going to be happy with the ambient temperature, but, like, I'll plant them anyway. I don't, it's, if that's the case, that's fine. Whatever. So what I want to do for that is I want to make it very easy to look at the berry bushes at a glance, meaning I want to elevate them off of the ground. And for that, I need as much dirt as I have berry bushes. So I have like 60 berry bushes, or 59 or whatever. I didn't really count. So I'm going to need about that much dirt. And then I'll start working on whatever project ends up top of the pole. In fact, let's just put 2.5 more minutes on the pole here, and I'll close it early so you know what's coming, rather than leaving it open-ended. So once I've got about a stack of dirt, my plan is to go over to the beach where we have these salt barrels and sort of like line up a, what would that be called? A berm or something of dirt to plant all the berry bushes on so that they're all lined up and I can see at a glance if any of them are fruiting. At some point, mass-produced berries like this would be a really good way for me to jumpstart distilling if I want, like, wine or vinegar, alcohol, you know, something of that nature. Additionally, replanting all these berry bushes means that I'm also land clearing if I'm trying to, like, add any new structures to the base, so it serves a bit of a double purpose. It really depends on what I end up building. So the plan was over here. Maybe? Well, it's not flat here. What I was hoping to do is find a place that I frequented often enough so that I could just, like, glance over and check on the progress of the berry bushes. But I failed to remember how far physically the seawater barrels are. So I'm going to change locations here. Because I don't think it's smart to put it that far away. I'm just not going to remember to check on them. If I make it inconvenient, that's a poor planning. So maybe I will excavate some earth here and line them up on the opposite shoreline. Making sure that the opposite shoreline is like nice and flat. Do I not have an axe on me? I do. And it looks like you guys want me to potentially work on building. Like actually building for once. So I'm going to hide that pole, and that will be the next goal that I fill in once I'm done with this current mini project. Because this project is not going to take very long. Alright, so the way this looks is I'll take the black currants. And I think I'm going to do 2 high. I also wanted to get rid of all the other plants around it so that the berry bushes stand out a little bit more. At some point, I could even trim them so that the berry bushes look groomed. Not that they stay that way, but that would be even a greater way for me to visualize it. But if I have like a wall, a hedge wall of berry bushes right next to the base, it will be fairly noticeable and obvious when they're fruiting, or if they're ever fruiting. I feel like holding a torch next to them is asking for trouble. Move it, Sedge. And then all the other plants around the area, I would likely relocate so that the berry bushes they stand out a little bit more against the background. It's just so that I don't have to, you know, I can glance at them pretty easily and they're not obscured by other plants, etc., etc. And, cheers. So I got that hedge wall going, and I'm just moving the papyrus that's wild here, so that it's not obscuring the view. So we'll replant the papyrus. Oh, maybe I shouldn't crouch with a lit torch in the water. And I'm sure, like, I'm gonna want a different spot eventually for the papyrus, because that, I assume, is just gonna block my view for other things later on, but whatever. That's a problem for me to solve later on. Alright, that much is done. And now we just need to plant the other half of the berry bushes, because that was only half of them. Or about half. But yeah, that's more or less the concept. And it'll be a little easier to do now that daybreak is upon us. So in terms of actual functional buildings to build, one of the next ones I'd like to build is the smithy. Because I feel like if you were to actually do blacksmithing in like a primitive, you know, because one would imagine maybe a home makes more sense, but my character barely sleeps. Let's be honest, I sleep almost never, and as a result, I'm thinking maybe a smithy, and perhaps I give you guys the choice between the two, if you want to ultimately decide what you think. So, what building to build? Smithy. Storage. Because I have like underground storage, but I don't have a regular storage. Butchery. A proper butchery, not what we're doing right now. Or housing. And have you guys choose. I suppose I could have also included kitchen in that. Maybe I will. Because what we've got right now is not a kitchen. It's just a fire pit. Okay, and there's our berry wall. And now, it's going to be very easy to tell whether things are, you know, would yield food at a distance. I'll just be able to look over and be like, ooh, berries, right? Like, I'm just trying to make it easy for my brain, noticeable, you know? Okay, now that that's done, let's put away some of the stuff I've got. So in terms of the priorities, I planted the berry bushes, I fixed the irrigation. I could also fix the hammer that we've got, but like, I don't think there's an urgency there. I'll get around to that at some point. And while you vote on this, I do think I will need to start cooking. Oh, we already have a pot there. Because I don't have a lot of food, but we have a lot of meat. What is my protein and grain? I'm not really going to be able to solve a lot of grain. Well, I have rice grain. Maybe I'll do both. This is going to be... I'm going to get, like, diarrhea from this food. This is so protein loaded. I'm going to, like, die of, like, vitamin A poisoning or something. So, it's been good knowing you guys. Meat with a side of meat, with extra meat on top, and prime meat on top of that. Yep. Yep, I'll be dead. So, weather permitting, it will flower. Weather permitting, of course, is like a temperature thing, because there's a certain amount of temperature tolerance that these plants have. Although, interestingly enough, it doesn't show in the survival handbook. And we have a whole bunch of cleared earth. So, overwhelmingly, it's pretty obvious you guys are going to want a smithy. So, looking at this, maybe what I'll do is build a smithy on this island here. I think I kind of... Oh, wow, that's weird. That fish rotted in my hands. You know what? It's bad luck to keep rotted fish. So if I am doing a smithy here, there's a few things I'm going to need to do even before that. Which is, I'm going to want to build what looks to be like a reasonable bridge out of wood to get over to the other side. And then I want like a raised platform that is not flammable, meaning I'll be building out of cobble. So let's update the priority. Build a smithy. Alright, so first order of business is how much... I don't think I really have any clay. Oh, right, and you're probably... Oh, you didn't even finish cooking. Glad I checked. So I have like one andesite cobblestone, but I do have a lot of andesite stone. And I think we'll just make it out of andesite. That seems reasonable, all things considered. And Rosola, thank you for the resub. Happy New Year to you too. Oh, I didn't grab my clay. It's down there, isn't it? That's not how to grab things. And I'm probably going to need more andesite. Cobblestone. The idea was that I did want a natural water source block for the smithy. So maybe what I'll do is have like this be the water source block and build up the smithy around here where we quench and Eventually health hammer, potentially. And because the smithy is relatively close to the farm, using a windmill for both a quarn to mill grain and also for the health hammer is not unreasonable if they're in this adjacency, right? If my smithy was like up the mountain, that would be a whole different matter. Now, with that said, the taller your the higher up your windmill is, the more wind power that you will get. So there is a reason to build on a tippy top of a mountain. It's just I'm not going to be doing that. It's not reasonable for me, the player, to live at the tippy top of a mountain. Oh my god. How much you just... Okay, fine. Burn all my wood, I guess, because you're being a pain. So if I want something that looks realistic heading over to the smithy, that might look... I'm gonna... This will be a little tricky. I want it to be wood, not stone. And I want it to look organic. And that's maybe asking a lot. Can't wait to scrounge for the resin for that windmill? Yes. That will be fun. Now, if I wanted to put... like, maybe a wooden path would look the most realistic. I'll have to test it out. I don't have a lot of walnut left, but we'll see what it looks like. If only you could make a water wheel? Yeah, true. Alright, unfortunately, yeah, it does look like I'm basically out of wood. So if I did want wooden paths over it, I'm gonna need to source some other kind of material, and I might do like a slab path too. We'll have to. Well, that's likely what it will look like once it's done. Oh my god, one serving is like your daily intake of calories. Yup, that makes sense. So, yeah, we're going to need to slab. So maybe what I'll do is make wooden slabs to go with it. Yeah, it's probably going to be the most reasonable thing to do. But before I do that, let's cook the porridge. Simple porridge. Alright. Now the issue that we're gonna run into, I'm starting like a wooden path. The wooden path I have here is like the wrong wood. So because I only have two of them, maybe what I'll do is I'll have either side be of this different type. And I was thinking of actually changing the layout of this pond anyway, so I'm gonna fix that first. So yeah, if you're, I see chat about asking about a water wheel. Before we even do water wheels, Vintage Story has to figure out what, how to even do rivers. Vintage Story doesn't even have rivers yet, so it'd be really cool to have a water wheel for a power source, but like, they ain't even rivers. So I would say in the scheme of things, rivers come first, probably. And now that my stew that I made, alright, here's the porridge. Put that below. And this shouldn't, I could put it away, but I don't think it's gonna spoil all that quickly. Anyway, and it's just more convenient to like serve myself if it's on the shelf. So that's why it's on the shelf. The next thing I wanted to do is to make some boiled water. Hey, emotional player, thank you for the resub too. And maybe what we'll do is the woodwork that I put into this will be kapok tree. Because that's just like what's around, so might as well. Does it stay fresh with the door open? Yes. Oddly, yes. As soon as the room registers as a cellar, meaning that it is windowless. Like, there is no real designation in the game for a cellar. It's basically just any room that isn't greater than 7 by 7 by 7 that doesn't have any natural sunlight is a cellar. That was a bigger tree than I thought. Almost broke the axe here. Alright, that's boiled. Do it again. I bet I can boil 3 liters of water with like 1 firewood. I don't think it takes very much to do it. And I've been drinking it often enough that like I probably don't need to put it in here to keep it fresh. 16 days. Yeah, okay. 1 is still too hot to even have spoiled timers. So the half blocks of the wooden blocks, what I'm going for now for the path, which will be partially elevated, and I kind of want it to be partially elevated. Why is this so annoying? Not stairs. Not support beam. I thought it was called, or slab. I'm going for wood slab. So, kapok slab. So I'm going to make a kapok slab. It's 2 boards next to one another. And that will be like a half block up, which I think is probably what the feel and aesthetic I want. I'll make all 32 slabs. I'm sure I'll use them. There it is, boiled water. No. I'm bad at putting slabs down. Do I want handrails? Maybe not at first pass. Everything is... So... Without stating the absolute obvious, the concept here is that things will be improved upon over time. I'm not going to overdo any one project, because that doesn't make any sense. You know, if you were surviving the wilderness, you would solve your immediate... Can we just... Fine. Do I have to force you to be horizontal slabs? So if you're asking what I'm going to do for this project, wait and see is my best answer. Oh, right, because that's a half block down. I can't put the paths. All right, I'm going to get rid of the paths. They were an incomplete idea, let's say. I'm gonna get rid of the fish weirs. I also do not need the fish weirs here anymore. I could move them, but that's not where I want them anyway. And at some point I might chisel this once I have a chisel to feel a little bit more step-like. But like that's essentially the idea. So on the other half, I have these full blocks of andesite. And what I was thinking of doing is having, replacing some of the earth with the andesite blocks to have a... I might have the entire smith be half block up, though. Which means, well, and this site. So I'm going to want more andesite for andesite cobblestone slabs, which is andesite stone and clay, in order to complete the concept I have in my head. The issue is I don't want to be digging up andesite without it being productive in some way or another, which means I want to be digging for something else as I get the andesite, right? Because I don't need just andesite. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I'm gonna keep the ladders, keep the rammed earth, put the boards away, hang the saw, and we'll continue on that project. So, where is the closest... Yeah, that cave entrance really is the closest, I suppose. I do have this here. This was... I should probably fill this back up. So this whole thing was so that I could prospect the area. But obviously it is not needed anymore. It's weird to have like a pitfall in my own backyard, so I'm gonna just cover that up. And it's not deep enough that it's gonna hurt me if I like accidentally fall into it. Oh, Chalo. What kind of snake were you? Oh, you are venomous. Coach whip. I believe coach whips are venomous. That's fun. Alright, heading down into the caves so that I can mine andesite or I mean, if it becomes granite, that's fine too. I don't really care what kind of stone it is. So I can source stone and also something else. And in this case, maybe go for the gold? Because we did find gold here in the quartz. And it wouldn't be bad to have gold for the potential of amazing lanterns. You know, lined lanterns down the line. So here we go. We got native gold in quartz. And if you're wondering what this breaks into, if we break it up, 2 native gold. It doesn't actually give me the quartz. So it's kind of funny when you mine quartz, you don't get quartz when there's like something else in it. Because I wouldn't also mine quartz if we want windows, but I think windows are like a project for way later. Coach whips aren't venomous? Oh, that's good to know. I think the mod only adds 4 snakes in, and like there's like a chain viper. Actually, here, how about this? Oh, come on. Pit viper and chain viper are, I think, the poisonous ones. And then there's rat snake and coach whip. Whoa, bountiful? We went from medium to bountiful? Hello, I'm gonna have lots of gold. There's not honestly a lot of uses for gold outside of like lantern lining in Vintage Story. So it isn't really important to get in that way. But let's do a node search here just to see what's around. Huge amounts of quartz and medium amounts of quartz and gold in quartz. Yeah, I sort of figured. Now, if you're wondering about the process of making, like, windows or glass, we would need to bloom it, which would mean we would need fire clay. So it is we could make windows, but it's not something that I think is necessary, and it's not something I'm going to be undertaking unless it is voted upon. So I believe that's enough for an entire plate, right? 2020, right? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, now we have a plate's worth of gold. That was really ridiculously easy. And then it might also be a good idea to get some saltpeter while I'm down here too. Where'd my... Oh yeah, there's my shovel. Well, no, I'm gonna hold off on the saltpeter. The reason for that is, I do know where some high fertility soil is, which would be, like, worth fertilizing, but I'm not gonna be fertilizing medium fertility soil, because medium fertility soil is very replaceable, so there's really no need to, like, make it. But these boulders are a really good source of building material. Yeah, that was incredibly fast getting so often when you're trying to make lined plates for lanterns, it takes orders of magnitude longer than that, where you're like rummaging up for material for a long time. I probably have a decent amount of andesite. The other thing I could be doing is digging a mining shaft, like an exploratory mining shaft down here, to like look for certain materials, but given that my current hydration is like horrible bad, I'm gonna resurface and continue doing the Smithy stuff. It shouldn't take too long to build a reasonably decent Smithy platform. Another task that I really like to undertake at some point is to try to find bamboo. I kind of wanted to build my roofing out of bamboo, have bamboo roof style, because I think that would look most appropriate for the sort of jungle that I'm in. It's not to say that I would necessarily adopt like some sort of like Vietnamese like river hut style or Thai river hut style architecture. I'm not a good enough builder to make it look convincing, but I did want bamboo just because it feels like it'd be the right material, and I'm really surprised I haven't actually found bamboo yet. So there's another reason to look for bamboo, and the other reason to look for bamboo is that I haven't found a reasonable source of leather making, meaning limestone, marble, chalk, or borax to make leather. And with the inability to make leather, I have a very steep, there's not a lot of progress I can make if I can't put leather together. So I do have some pelts that are drying right now, but I think I really need leather in the long run. So running around looking for leather making material at the same time as working towards well, yeah, I guess honestly going on an excursion to explore for all the things I need, I guess. And yeah, the damage I was taking was dehydration damage, and it happens fast. When you dehydrate, you go from living to dead pretty quick. In the mod. You know what I realized? I have a lot of, like, wooden fences that I probably... Well, no, if I burn them, I'm gonna regret that. Excuse me. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Dang it. Guess I'll move this blood under as well. Keep it fresher longer. Alright, we got all this andesite. And I just realized I don't have my clay on me. It is one of those days, isn't it? I'm just, I didn't want to store one saltpeter, but that's essentially what happens. Saltpeter adds a little bit of nitrogen and a lot of potassium to the tile. So this tile is growing flax, which depletes potassium, K, and the saltpeter replaces the K in the soil, replenishing it. But for medium fertility soil, that doesn't matter, because medium fertility soil is common enough that, like, replenishing the fertility in the soil is pointless. Just throw the soil out and put new soil down. There's soil everywhere. So that's why I didn't want to get all the saltpeter, because I don't need it. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rudimont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rudimont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow survivors.